Some kids learn early how to read a room before they learn how to play in it. They notice tone shifts, silence, the weight behind a sigh. If that feels familiar, it usually does not feel like a memory. It feels like a reflex. You still do it. You walk into a space and scan before you settle. You stay alert even when nothing is wrong. It is uncomfortable, but it feels normal. And most people never ask where that reflex came from. It just sits there, quietly shaping how you move through life. Psychology reveals that reactions like this rarely appear without a reason. And once you sense the pattern, it becomes hard to ignore. A child who grows up too fast is rarely told that is what happened. There is no clear moment, no announcement. It happens in fragments, small responsibilities, emotional adjustments. Being the calm one when things feel unstable. You learn to stay composed because someone else cannot. You learn to think ahead because someone else does not. Slowly, your inner world changes shape. Without asking for permission, I notice this when people apologize too quickly, or say, "It is fine," before checking if it really is. As a kid, that phrase becomes a shield. It keeps the peace. It keeps things moving. Researchers suggest children adapt not by choice, but by necessity. The mind looks for safety. Safety often looks like control, even when it costs something later. The control is subtle. You become skilled at anticipating reactions. You sense emotional triggers before they surface. You learn when to speak and when not to. It feels like maturity. Adults praise it. They call you responsible. But inside, something quieter happens. You learn that your needs come second, that staying useful matters more than staying curious. Over time, curiosity can start to feel risky. Most people think growing up fast makes you stronger, and in some ways, it does. But strength built too early carries tension. The body remembers. Even years later, you might feel restless when things are calm, as if calm is temporary, as if it needs to be monitored, as if ease requires justification. Realize this during an ordinary moment. Sitting alone, nothing urgent, no pressure, yet my shoulders were tight. I kept checking my phone. I felt like I was waiting. That made me wonder what I was still preparing for, long after the reason had passed. That question lingered longer than I expected. Children who grow up too fast develop cognitive patterns around responsibility. They become the solver, the mediator, the reliable one. Reliability feels good, until it slowly turns into invisibility. You stop being asked what you feel. You are expected to handle it. Human behavior adapts to expectations faster than we think, especially when praise is involved. There is a quiet loneliness in this. Not obvious. It shows up when you are around people but slightly apart. You listen more than you speak. You observe more than you participate. The distance feels natural because it was learned early, not chosen. You might even confuse it with independence. This appears later in decision making. You hesitate to ask for help. You weigh consequences before expressing needs. You may feel uncomfortable when someone takes care of you. Dependence feels risky. Independence becomes default, even when it is exhausting and unnecessary. Psychology does not frame this as damage. It frames it as adaptation. Patterns that shape your life once kept you safe. They just did not update when the environment changed. That mismatch creates tension that is easy to miss. Because it feels familiar, you might notice a contradiction. Confident on the outside, doubtful on the inside. Common crises, uneasy in stillness. Most people think that does not add up, but it does. Once you trace it back and notice what you were trained to handle. The child who grows up too fast learns to manage chaos, not comfort. Comfort feels unfamiliar, sometimes even undeserved. When it arrives, the nervous system stays alert. It is not broken, it is trained, and training leaves impressions. Emotional language can be limited. When you grow up, managing situations, not feelings, naming inner states feels difficult. You sense them, but do not translate them. Subtle signals get missed, even by you, until they stack up. I hear people say, "I am just tired," when the feeling is deeper. Tired becomes efficient shorthand, not avoidance. Efficiency learned early and reinforced for years by results. There is pressure to stay composed. Confusion feels indulgent, so you analyze. You stay in your head. It looks like insight, but sometimes it is distance. Wearing a thoughtful expression, growing up too fast can make you perceptive. You read people, well, you sense shifts, but that awareness can turn inward and become self-surveillance. You edit yourself in real time. The inner child stays quiet while the adult performs competence. From the outside, everything looks fine. You are capable. You are trusted. You are reliable. There is no obvious reason to question the cost, until you notice how rarely you feel fully at ease, even in places meant to feel safe. This pattern often appears in relationships. You are the steady one, the listener, the one who remembers details. But when it is your turn to be held, something tightens. You deflect. You minimize. You say it is not a big deal. It is not that you do not want closeness. It is that closeness was never part of the training. Researchers suggest early responsibility can blur emotional boundaries. You learn to manage others before understanding yourself. So later, when someone asks what you need, the question feels vague, even intrusive. You search for an answer and come up empty, then feel strange for not having one. There is a quiet grief in noticing this, not dramatic, just a soft ache, a sense of something missed. Moments where you wonder who you would be if you had more room to be small, to be unsure, to be taken care of without earning it first. I catch myself irritated by indecision, then I pause and question it. It is not superiority, it is familiarity. Indecision once had consequences. Certainty felt safer in when it was heavy and limiting. This is how patterns persist, not because they are wrong, but because they work. The brain prefers efficiency, even when it no longer fits the present. Awareness often arrives through discomfort, not insight, and rarely on schedule. Many adults who grew up too fast struggle with rest. Rest feels unproductive. When value was tied to contribution, stillness can feel like disappearance. So you stay busy, useful, slightly ahead of yourself. Even when no one is chasing, there is also fear of being a burden. You learn that problems needed solutions, not expressions. So you carry things quietly. You tell yourself you can handle it, and most of the time, you can. That ability becomes part of your identity. What goes unspoken matters. Feelings that do not fit efficiency do not vanish. Psychology reveals they relocate into tension, into overthinking, into numbness that is hard to explain and easy to ignore. This can become impatience with yourself. You expect resilience. You expect clarity. You are less forgiving of confusion. After all, you have handled worse. That logic sounds fair, but it ignores the cost of always handling it alone. Often, the pattern becomes visible during a pause, a calm weekend, a safe relationship, a success that does not soothe. That is, when the question appears, why do I still feel on edge when nothing is wrong? The answer is not that something is broken. Something in you learned to stay ready. Readiness became identity, and identities are reinforced by praise, reliability, and being needed more than being known. You may genuinely like being capable. There is pride in it, meaning in it. Letting go does not mean rejecting that part of you. It means noticing when it no longer serves the life you are actually living. I once thought growing up fast meant skipping weakness, but I did not skip it. I postponed it. And postponement does not erase anything. It just changes when it asks for attention, often quietly. This story is less about the past than perception. The nervous system remembers rules. Stay alert. Stay useful. Stay composed. Those rules made sense once, in a different context. Now, they sometimes interfere with ease, with play, with asking without justifying. Noticing that is not failure. It is information offered without urgency. This psychology is not a diagnosis. It is a lens, a way to see how early adaptation shapes adult life, not as a flaw, but as intelligence formed under pressure. The part of you that grew up quickly was doing its best. It responded to the world as it was. The question now is not how to undo it. It is how to notice when it no longer needs to lead. Because awareness shifts decision-making. It softens emotional triggers. It creates space between reflex and choice. That space is quiet. It does not